What happens when a respected businesswoman sits down for what should be a friendly morning chat and instead faces a barrage of condescending questions and thinly veiled insults from one of television's most beloved hosts? In just 32 seconds, Lorraine Kelly would go from smiling host to defensive antagonist, sparking one of the most shocking exits in daytime television history. Dr. Sara Al Madani walked onto the set that morning with nothing but good intentions. The entrepreneur, author, and television personality had been invited to discuss her latest business ventures and her work empowering women in the Middle East. The studio lights were bright, the audience was seated and ready, and Lorraine Kelly sat behind her desk with that familiar smile plastered across her face. But something felt off from the very beginning. Well, Lorraine began as Sara settled into her seat. Dr. Sara Al Madani, everyone. Quite the title you've given yourself there. Sara smiled. Politely, though anyone watching closely could see the slight furrow in her brow. Thank you for having me, Lorraine. I'm excited to be here. Yes, I'm sure you are, Lorraine replied, her tone carrying an edge that seemed to catch even the other panelists off guard. Sitting to Lorraine's left was fashion expert Claire Morrison, and to her right, lifestyle journalist Thomas Bennett. Both shifted uncomfortably in their seats. So, Lorraine continued, leaning back in her chair with an air of superiority, you call yourself a doctor. Now, you're not a medical doctor, are you? You're not actually saving lives or anything like that. The audience fell silent. Sara maintained her composure, though her smile had become noticeably tighter. I have a doctorate in business administration, Lorraine. It's an academic title I earned through years of study and research. Right. Lorraine waved her hand dismissively. One of those doctors, I see. Claire Morrison jumped in quickly, clearly trying to steer the conversation to safer ground. Sara, I absolutely love what you've been doing with your fashion line. The way you're blending traditional and modern elements is really quite brilliant. Thank you, Claire, Sara said, her shoulders relaxing slightly. It's important to me that women feel empowered through what they wear, that they can honor their heritage while also expressing their individuality. Empowerment, Lorraine interrupted, saying the word as if it tasted sour in her mouth. That's quite the buzzword these days, isn't it? Everyone's empowering everyone. The word has lost all meaning, don't you think? Thomas Bennett cleared his throat. I actually think what Sara is doing is quite meaningful, Lorraine. She's created real opportunities for women in regions where those opportunities are limited. Has she, though? Lorraine shot back, her eyes fixed on Sara. Or is this just another wealthy person playing at charity while building their brand? Sara's jaw tightened. She took a slow breath before responding. With respect, Lorraine, I don't think you understand the work I do. I've invested my own money, my own time, and my own reputation into creating genuine pathways for women to become financially independent. Your own money, Lorraine repeated, a mocking lilt in her voice. Yes, must be terribly hard giving away money when you have so much of it. Tell me, how many houses do you own? 3? 4? The audience gasped. Claire and Thomas exchanged alarmed glances. I don't think that's relevant to... Sara began. Of course you don't, Lorraine cut her off. People like you never think your wealth is relevant when you're being questioned about it. But you're quite happy to flaunt it otherwise, aren't you? Sara sat up straighter. I have never flaunted anything. I work hard for everything I have. I came from nothing, built businesses from the ground up, and yes, I've been successful. But I use that success to help others. What exactly is your issue with that? My issue, Lorraine said, her voice rising, is that people like you come on shows like mine, pretending to be humble, pretending to care, when really you just want more attention, more followers, more money. Lorraine, that's completely uncalled for, Thomas interjected, his face flushed with indignation. Sara is a guest on this show. You invited her here. And I can ask her whatever questions I like, Lorraine snapped back. This is my show, Thomas. Perhaps you've forgotten that. Claire tried once more to mediate. Why don't we talk about Sarah's book? I think our viewers would love to hear about her book, Lorraine laughed bitterly. Another product to sell. Another way to profit off the idea of helping people. How much are you making per copy, Sarah? What's your cut? Sarah's hands gripped the arms of her chair. You know what, Lorraine? I came here today thinking we were going to have a conversation. A real conversation. About the work I do. About the women I've helped. About the challenges we face in creating equality in business. But instead, you've spent the last several minutes attacking me personally, questioning my credentials, my wealth, my intentions. I'm just asking the questions everyone's thinking, Lorraine retorted. No, Sarah said firmly. You're projecting your own insecurities and biases onto me. You don't know me. You don't know my story. You haven't asked me a single genuine question about my actual work. The studio had gone completely silent. Even the camera operators seemed frozen. How dare you, Lorraine hissed. How dare you come onto my show and accuse me of being insecure? I've been doing this for decades. I've interviewed hundreds of people. I know exactly what I'm doing. Then why are you being so hostile? Sarah asked, her voice calm but piercing. What have I done to deserve this treatment? I've been nothing but respectful to you. You walked in here with your designer clothes and your perfect hair and your fake humility, Lorraine spat. You people are all the same. You think you're better than everyone else. Thomas stood up abruptly. Lorraine, stop. This is completely out of line. You're being incredibly rude and unprofessional. Sit down, Thomas, Lorraine commanded. No, he said. I won't sit here and watch you bully a guest like this. Claire nodded in agreement. This isn't right, Lorraine. Sarah has done nothing to warrant this kind of hostility. Lorraine's face had turned red. Both of you need to remember who signs your paychecks. This is my show. My name is on it, and I will run it however I see fit. Sarah slowly rose from her chair. I think it's clear that this conversation isn't going anywhere productive. Lorraine, I genuinely hope you figure out whatever is bothering you, because this level of anger towards someone you don't even know isn't healthy. Don't you psychoanalyze me, Lorraine shot back. You're not that kind of doctor either. I'm not trying to analyze you, Sarah replied evenly. I'm simply observing that your behavior today has been extraordinarily hostile for no apparent reason. I came here in good faith. I prepared to talk about meaningful topics. Instead, you've used this platform to tear me down. You're not a victim, Lorraine scoffed. Stop acting like one. I'm not acting like a victim, Sarah said. I'm standing up for myself. There's a difference. And frankly, if this is how you treat your guests, I'm surprised anyone agrees to come on this show. The audience began murmuring. A few people even started clapping. How dare they? Lorraine muttered, glaring at the audience. How dare you all? I bring you entertainment every single day, and this is how you repay me? By supporting some random businesswoman over me? Claire put her head in her hands. Thomas looked like he wanted to disappear. Sarah picked up her purse from beside the chair. I'm going to leave now. Thank you, Claire and Thomas, for trying to make this civil. Lorraine, I truly wish you well, but I won't subject myself to this any longer. Fine, Lorraine snapped. Leave. Run away. That's what people like you do when you're confronted with real questions. Sarah paused at the edge of the set and turned back. You didn't ask me real questions, Lorraine. You attacked me. You insulted my education, my work, my intentions, and my character. Those aren't questions. That's bullying. And I'm too old and too experienced to tolerate bullying from anyone, regardless of how famous they think they are. Get out, Lorraine shouted. Get off my set. Security, escort her out. There's no need for security, Sarah said calmly. I'm leaving of my own accord. Unlike some people, I know when a situation is toxic, and I have the self-respect to remove myself from it. As Sarah walked off the set, Several audience members stood and applauded. The cameras were still rolling, capturing every moment of Lorraine's meltdown. "Stop clapping," Lorraine demanded. "Stop it right now. You don't know what you're talking about. None of you do." Thomas removed his microphone. "I can't be a part of this anymore. Lorraine, you need help. This isn't normal behavior." Claire followed suit, removing her own microphone. "I agree with Thomas. This has gone way too far." "You're both fired," Lorraine screamed. "Do you hear me? Fired. Get out. All of you. Get out." But they were already walking off the set, following Sarah's lead. Lorraine sat alone at her desk, breathing heavily, her carefully crafted image crumbling around her. The audience sat in stunned silence, unsure of what to do or say. One of the producers rushed onto the set. "Lorraine, we need to go to commercial. Now." "No," Lorraine said. "We're not going to commercial. We're going to sit here and discuss what just happened." "Lorraine, please," the producer pleaded. "I said no," Lorraine insisted. "That woman came onto my show and disrespected me. She disrespected all of you. And you're all just going to let her get away with it?" A woman in the front row of the audience spoke up. "She didn't disrespect anyone. You attacked her from the moment she sat down. We all saw it." "You don't know what you saw," Lorraine argued. "You don't understand the context." "What context?" another audience member called out. "You were rude and aggressive for no reason." Lorraine pointed at them. "You're all against me. Every single one of you. After everything I've done, after years of bringing you entertainment and joy, this is how you treat me." The producer tried again. "Lorraine, we really need to cut away." "Fine," Lorraine spat. "Cut away. Run your commercials. Protect your precious advertising revenue. But when we come back, we're going to have a serious conversation about respect and loyalty." The cameras finally cut, but the damage was done. Backstage, Sarah was met by several members of the production staff, who apologized profusely for what had happened. She graciously accepted their apologies, while making it clear that she would not be returning to complete the interview. "I understand you all have jobs to do," Sarah told them, "and I don't hold any of you responsible for Lorraine's behavior, but I also won't put myself in a position to be verbally abused on national television." One of the younger producers, a woman named Emma, looked close to tears. "I'm so sorry, Dr. Al Madani. We had no idea she was going to act like that. She's been increasingly difficult lately, but nothing like this." "It's not your fault," Sarah reassured her. "Sometimes people reveal who they really are when they feel threatened. I'm not entirely sure what I did to threaten her, but clearly something struck a nerve." Thomas and Claire found Sarah in the hallway. "We are so incredibly sorry," Claire said. "That was absolutely appalling." "Thank you both for speaking up," Sarah replied. "I know that wasn't easy, especially since you work with her." "Worked," Thomas corrected. "Past tense. I meant what I said in there. I can't be associated with that kind of behavior." Claire nodded. "Same. There are some lines you just don't cross, and she crossed all of them today." Meanwhile, back in the studio, Lorraine was having a heated argument with her producers during the commercial break. "You're overreacting," one of them said. "We can spin this." "Spin it?" Lorraine laughed harshly. "How exactly do you plan to spin me calling a guest fake and attacking her wealth on live television?" "We'll say it was a robust debate," another producer suggested, "that you were playing devil's advocate." "Nobody's going to believe that," Lorraine muttered. "Did you see the audience? They were on her side. My own panelists walked off. This is a disaster." "Then maybe you should consider apologizing when we come back," the first producer offered. Lorraine's eyes flashed with anger. "Apologize? For what? For asking tough questions? For not coddling some entitled businesswoman who thinks she's saving the world?" "Lorraine, you didn't ask tough questions. You attacked her personally. There's a difference." "Get out," Lorraine said quietly. "Everyone out. I need to think." The producers exchanged worried glances, but complied. leaving Lorraine alone with her thoughts. In the green room, Sara was collecting her things when a knock came at the door. It was one of the audience members, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes. "I'm sorry to bother you," the woman said, "but I wanted to tell you how impressed I was with how you handled yourself in there. You were dignified and strong, and you didn't let her break you down." Sara smiled warmly. "Thank you. That means a lot. It wasn't easy, but I've learned over the years that you have to stand up for yourself, even when it's uncomfortable." "My daughter looks up to you," the woman continued. "She follows your work, reads your posts online. Seeing you walk away from that toxicity with your head held high, that's going to mean so much to her. That's real empowerment." Sara felt tears prick at her eyes. "Please tell your daughter that she's stronger than she knows, and that she should never let anyone, no matter how powerful or famous they think they are, make her feel small." The woman nodded, gave Sara a quick hug, and left. Back on set, the commercial break was ending. Lorraine had reapplied her makeup and fixed her hair, trying to regain some semblance of composure. But her eyes were still hard, her jaw still clenched. "Welcome back," she said to the camera, her voice tight. "As you all just witnessed, we had a bit of a situation with our guest, Dr. Sara Al Madani. She chose to leave the interview early after I asked her some pointed questions about her work and her wealth. The audience remained silent, no one buying her revisionist narrative. Now, I know some of you may think I was too harsh," Lorraine continued, "but I believe in accountability. I believe in asking the questions that others are afraid to ask. If that makes me unpopular, so be it." A man in the audience stood up. "That's not what happened, and you know it. You were cruel and condescending from the start. That woman did nothing to you." "Sit down, please," Lorraine said tersely. "No," the man replied. "I've been watching your show for years, and I've never seen you behave like that. You owe her an apology. You owe all of us an apology." Other audience members began voicing their agreement. The energy in the studio had completely shifted. Lorraine's composure finally cracked. "You know what? Fine. You all want to defend her? Go ahead. But don't come crying to me when you realize she's just another self-promoting narcissist using buzzwords and false promises to make money." "That's enough," a producer's voice came through Lorraine's earpiece. "We're cutting. Now." But Lorraine ripped the earpiece out. "No, I'm not done. I've dedicated my life to this show, to entertaining you people, to giving you someone to trust and relate to. And this is how you repay me? By turning on me the second I show some backbone?" The audience was now openly hostile, with several people getting up to leave. "Where are you going?" Lorraine called after them. "Sit back down. We're not finished." But they kept walking, filing out of the studio in silent protest. Lorraine stood up from her desk, looking around at the emptying studio with something like panic in her eyes. "You can't all leave. We're in the middle of a show." The remaining audience members continued to exit until only a handful remained, and even they looked uncomfortable. One of the producers finally made it onto the set. "Lorraine, we need to end this. Now." "Get your hands off me," Lorraine snapped as he tried to guide her away from the cameras. "This is my show. Mine. And I will decide when it ends." But the cameras were already cutting away. The control room making the executive decision to end the broadcast early. In the parking lot, Sara sat in her car for a moment, processing everything that had just happened. Her phone was already buzzing with messages from friends and colleagues who had seen the interview live. She took a deep breath and started the engine. As she drove away from the studio, she felt something unexpected. Relief. Relief that she had stood up for herself. Relief that she hadn't backed down or apologized for being successful or educated or confident. Relief that she had shown anyone watching, especially young women, that you don't have to accept mistreatment just because someone has power or fame. Back at the studio, Lorraine sat in her dressing room, staring at herself in the mirror. The makeup couldn't hide the anger and fear in her eyes. Her phone was ringing constantly, but she ignored it. There was a soft knock at the door. "Lorraine, it's Emma. Can I come in?" "What do you want?" Lorraine called. "Out." Emma opened the door cautiously. "The network executives are on their way. They want to meet with you." "Of course they do," Lorraine said bitterly. "Let me guess. They want me to grovel and apologize." "I think they just want to understand what happened," Emma said gently. Lorraine laughed, a hollow sound. "What happened is that I finally stopped pretending. I stopped playing the nice, friendly host who never asks difficult questions. I stopped coddling entitled guests who think they're better than everyone else." "Lorraine," Emma said carefully, "Dr. Al Madani didn't act entitled. She was actually very gracious, even when you were attacking her." "Not you too," Lorraine sighed. "I thought you at least understood." "Understood what?" Emma asked. "That these people, these so-called influencers and entrepreneurs, they're all the same. They use their platforms to promote themselves while pretending to care about others. It's all a performance." Emma shook her head. "I don't think that's fair. And even if it were true, that doesn't justify how you spoke to her. You were mean, Lorraine. Plain and simple." Lorraine turned away from the mirror to face Emma. "Get out." "Lorraine, I said get out. You're fired too. Everyone's fired. I'll do this show by myself if I have to." Emma left quietly, closing the door behind her. Alone again, Lorraine picked up her phone and scrolled through social media. The clips were already everywhere. People were dissecting every word, every facial expression, and the consensus was overwhelmingly clear. Lorraine Kelly had shown her true colors, and they weren't pretty. One comment in particular caught her eye. Dr. Al Madani handled that with such grace and dignity. She's a real class act. Lorraine could learn a thing or two from her about how to treat people. Lorraine threw her phone across the room, watching it shatter against the wall. The truth was beginning to sink in. She hadn't just had a bad day, or a momentary lapse in judgment. She had revealed something ugly about herself on national television, and there was no taking it back. Meanwhile, Sara had arrived home. She kicked off her heels, changed into comfortable clothes, and made herself a cup of tea. Her phone continued to buzz, but she decided to let it rest for a while. She needed a moment of peace to process everything. As she sat on her couch, looking out at the city skyline, she thought about all the young women who might have seen what happened. She hoped they understood the real lesson, that walking away from toxicity isn't weakness, that standing up for yourself matters, that you don't have to shrink yourself to make other people comfortable. She also thought about Lorraine, and despite everything, she felt a twinge of pity. Whatever was driving that kind of anger and insecurity must be painful. But Sara also knew that wasn't her problem to solve. She had done nothing wrong. She had simply existed as a successful, educated, confident woman, and apparently that had been threatening enough to trigger such a visceral response. Her phone rang. It was her publicist. "Sara, are you okay?" the woman asked immediately. "I'm fine," Sara assured her. "Shaken, but fine." "The media is going crazy. Everyone wants a statement from you. What do you want me to tell them?" Sara thought for a moment. "Tell them that I came to the interview with the intention of having a meaningful conversation about my work and the causes I care about. Tell them that, unfortunately, that conversation didn't happen, and tell them that I wish Lorraine Kelly well and hope she finds peace." "That's very gracious of you," her publicist said, "especially considering how she treated you." "Taking the high road isn't about being gracious," Sara replied. "It's about maintaining my own integrity, regardless of how others behave. I won't let her actions dictate my response. I won't stoop to that level." After hanging up, Sara allowed herself to fully exhale. The adrenaline was finally wearing off, and she felt exhausted, but she also felt proud. Proud that she had stood her ground. Proud that she hadn't resorted to name-calling or petty insults. Proud that she had walked away with her dignity intact. The sun was setting now, casting a golden glow across her living room. Sara closed her eyes and let herself feel everything. The anger at being treated so poorly. The satisfaction of standing up for herself. The hope that someone watching had learned something valuable. And somewhere across the city, in a now empty studio, Lorraine Kelly sat alone in the dark, finally beginning to understand the magnitude of what she had done. But understanding and accountability are two different things, and only time would tell which path she would choose.